my gosh! Holy smoke! This is crazy!
Hail the size of softballs pummeled central Montana over the weekend as a wave of violent storms tore through the northern plains, triggering damaging winds, flash floods, and even tornadoes from Montana to Minnesota. It all began late Saturday when storms exploded over the mountainous terrain of central Montana, unleashing the first hail reports near Petrolea Lake. There, residents endured an intense 15-minute barrage of ice measuring 3.5 inches in diameter, almost the size of softballs. The storm cell rapidly expanded in scope and strength as it moved southeast. Around 5:05 in the evening, the city of Laurel in Yellowstone County became a flashpoint for extreme weather. Quarter-sized hail began falling at first, but it quickly grew in size and intensity. Rooftops, vehicles, and open fields were struck with such frequency and power that the sound of impact drowned out conversation and movement, like metallic drums beating in rapid succession. Wind gusts in the area surged to more than 75 miles per hour, toppling power lines, bending tree limbs, and pelting homes already under siege by hail. Residents in Billings reported winds reaching nearly 60 miles per hour, with power fluctuations and streetlight failures occurring as the storm passed directly overhead. In Broadview, the hail was lighter, pea-sized, but not any less alarming to residents unprepared for what was unfolding. Lockwood and Shepherd, just east of Billings, were hit harder. There, hailstones cracked windshields, dented vehicles, and left entire yards littered in shattered ice and debris. A brand new truck in one neighborhood sustained thousands of dollars in damage within minutes. By nightfall, emergency services across Yellowstone County were overwhelmed with calls. Roads had turned slick and dangerous. Numerous accidents were reported, and several residents suffered minor injuries while attempting to flee or shelter from the storm. Meteorologists had warned earlier in the day that conditions were ripe for severe development. A clash between warm, moisture-rich surface air and an advancing upper-level cold front created an unstable atmosphere primed for intense thunderstorm activity. But few anticipated the duration or ferocity of what came next. Unlike most Montana summer storms, which typically build during the day and weaken by night, this system lingered into the early morning hours, extending its reach across much of eastern Montana. By the time it approached Miles City, the storm had intensified even further. Wind gusts there clocked in at 81 miles per hour, strong enough to tear limbs from trees, shred signs, and damage outbuildings. Meanwhile, just west of Roundup, a brief but confirmed tornado touched down amid early storm development, adding a new layer of chaos to an already volatile system. Emergency managers confirmed that the tornado remained on the ground for only a short time, but caused significant tree damage before dissipating. As the storm rolled into the Dakotas, its intensity remained unchecked. Near Hettinger, in North Dakota, wind gusts reached 91 miles per hour. Not long after, Harding County in South Dakota reported gusts nearing 84 miles per hour. These were not sustained hurricane-force winds, but the damage potential from sudden gusts of this strength was still tremendous, ripping siding from homes, downing trees, and blowing over unsecured equipment. In Minnesota, the system spawned multiple tornadoes, one of which passed directly in front of a storm tracker near Lake Shore. Video footage showed a wide cone of rotating wind spinning across open fields, while in the background, skies glowed an ominous green-gray. Another tornado touched down between Nicolay and North Mankato, with additional damage confirmed near Nisswa and the Brainerd Lakes region. Trees were uprooted, barns were destroyed, and power lines were snapped like twigs. Although no major injuries were reported, the structural damage and cleanup needs were substantial. As Monday dawned, the system pushed into Nebraska, where it continued to unleash severe weather. A tornado near the town of Dickens was caught on video by residents as it slowly churned across farmland under a rainbow-streaked sky. Along with the twister, the storm delivered baseball-sized hail, stones as large as 2.5 inches, causing significant property damage. Further south, Kansas experienced its own share of trouble. In Wichita, a powerful line of storms struck before sunrise Tuesday, bringing with it winds over 100 miles per hour. Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport recorded that top gust. Thousands were left without power, and widespread damage was reported to homes, businesses, and traffic signals. At the Crestview Country Club, 80-mile-per-hour winds ripped vendor tents and hospitality suites apart ahead of the upcoming Wichita Open. The golf course was forced to close for cleanup, while emergency crews responded to damage at locations like Villa Boxing Club, where parts of the roof were torn away. Flash flooding followed in the wake of the storms. Some areas received between 1 and 3 inches of rainfall in just a few hours, quickly overwhelming drainage systems. In the Twin Cities, more than an inch of rain fell in a 20-minute window, flooding streets and forcing several businesses, including popular restaurants and breweries, to close their doors temporarily. Back in Montana, the agricultural toll was only beginning to be understood. Wheat and barley crops in central and eastern regions were shredded by hail and wind, with entire fields left flattened. Ranchers reported injuries among livestock, many of which had tried to seek shelter but could not escape the intensity of the storm. Damages across the agricultural sector are expected to reach into the millions, prompting calls for state and federal emergency assistance. By Tuesday evening, the skies had finally cleared, but the landscape left behind was anything but normal. From Billings to Mankato, roads were covered in branches and shards of glass. Homes were bruised, fields battered, and communities left shaken. Cleanup will take days, if not weeks, and forecasters warn that this stretch of severe weather may not yet be over. The Storm Prediction Center continues to monitor evolving patterns, with additional storms possible midweek, especially across the Midwest. Residents are urged to stay alert, monitor weather advisories, and take all future warnings seriously. This weekend's outbreak was a powerful reminder that when conditions align, severe weather can escalate rapidly, and the consequences can be felt across hundreds of miles. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.